Okay, so this is for the organic lab. These are the substances we're going to be testing. We'll start out with water. We'll have honey, beans, potatoes, egg yolk, bread, egg whites, and oil. I'm going to start by filling my test tubes with each of these substances. Okay, so I'm going to put just a dropper full of each substance into each of the test tubes. Okay, so here's egg whites, see the bread, the yolk, see where I'm at, number 4 there, potatoes, the beans, the honey, and water. And remember, water is really important because it is inorganic. So for all of the tests that we do, there should not be a reaction. Okay, I'm going to fill up the rest of my test tubes. Okay, so we're going to start with the Benedict's test. This is Benedict's solution. I'm going to add 40 drops to each of these test tubes, and then I'm going to heat them up for about 5 minutes. Benedict's test for sugar. And so if one of these substances contains sugar, then it will turn from that blue color to kind of a rusty orange color. Okay, so let me start by adding Benedict's. And again, you need about 40 drops of it. So I'm not going to make you watch it, but we'll just keep adding until we get to 40 drops for each of the test tubes. Here's what my test tubes look like when I first put them into the hot water bath to heat up. All right, here are my solutions from the Benedict's test after about 5 minutes in the hot bath. And you can see there's at least 2 of them that are changing colors. The one that's kind of a greenish yellow, if I give it a little bit more time, will eventually become that bright orange color. The orange one is honey, so that makes sense because there's definitely sugar in honey. And the one that's a little bit of that yellowish green is bread. So bread has sugar in it. And the other ones you can see, and I'll pull them out for you, really did not have much of a color change, which means that they do not contain sugar. Okay, so just so you can see the final results of the Benedict's test, this was our water, which you notice has no color change. This is our honey, which definitely has a strong color change, indicating there's sugar. This one was the beans, and again, no color change. Potatoes, whoops, no color change there. Egg white, no color change. This was the bread, and you can see it contains sugar. The egg yolk, egg white. Okay, this was egg white, this was egg yolk. And then this was the oil, and you can see how it's separated because oil does not mix with it. Okay? My next test is going to use iodine, which is what I have here. Iodine is a reagent that tests for starch, and so if starch is present, the solution should turn a blue-black color. This one only requires 3 to 5 drops, so we'll start here with the water. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when we look at the solution, it stayed kind of a yellowish color, so this does not have starch. My next one was honey, so we'll put some in there. And again, it did not change colors. My next one were the beans, so let me put some iodine in there. And again, no color change. Maybe a little bit more of that one. Okay, this one were the potatoes, and you can definitely see a color change. That's that blue-black color I was talking about. So potatoes definitely have starch. right, this one is the egg yolk. No color change, so no starch. All right, this was bread. It definitely has starch in it. All right, this one is the egg white. And again, no color change in that one. And finally, we have the oil. And again, no color change. So the two items that had starch were the potatoes. You can see an obvious blue-black color. And the bread. And again, another blue-black color. Okay, our next test is for protein, and we use a chemical called biuret. A biuret reagent is a mix of sodium hydroxide and copper sulfate. And when it's mixed with a solution that contains protein, it turns a bright purple color. This only requires 3 to 5 drops, just like the iodine test. Okay, so I'm going to start by putting the biuret in the water and swirl it around, and you can see there's not much of a color change there. Right, and then we'll move on to the honey. And again, no color change. All right, next are beans. Ooh, and you can definitely tell if I hold it over the white, that's definitely a purple color. So beans contain proteins. All right, next is my potato. And again, no color change for that. All right, and next we have the egg yolk. There's a little bit you can see at the bottom. Okay, which makes sense. Proteins have eggs. Okay. And then we have bread. Not really a color change on this one. Okay, no purple in that one. And then we have egg white. Ooh, yeah, you can see the purple on that one. So egg whites definitely have protein, more protein than the egg yolks did. And finally, the oil. And there is no protein in that, no purple color. Okay. Okay, my final test is for lipids. I'm going to use this brown paper bag. If I put the substance on there and it leaves a grease spot, something that you can see through, then that's an indication that it contains fat or lipids. So I'm just going to put a little drop on each area. So my water, see if we can get closer to it. This is honey. And you have beans and the potatoes. And it looks like there's a spot maybe I rubbed on accident for 5, so I'll put it up here. This is my egg yolk. And then the beans, or sorry, this is bread. And the egg white, number 7. And oil is number 8. Okay, so I'm going to let that sit for about 5 minutes to let them dry, and then I'll take another picture of it. Okay, so this is the final result of the lipid test, and you can see if we get closer, there's only 2 that left an oil spot, and remember we put the egg yolk kind of at the top there, and you can see it made a grease stain, so that one has oil in it, or a lipid in it, and definitely number 8, which is an oil, so that makes sense. Sometimes you get spots that aren't quite dry all the way, but if you hold it up to the light, let's see, you can see better. You can only see through 5 and 8. Okay.